Hello everyone, and let's talk about why you should focus on recognizing your staff and your volunteers if you want effective integration of generative AI. And I have to tell you that staff and volunteers from my work with associations are key to successful integration of generative AI. Recognition motivates engagement and fosters creative solutions, which is why you want recognition to be at the forefront of your generative AI adoption strategy. A culture of appreciation of staff strengthens experimentation and collaboration and reduces resistance and improves buy-in. Let's talk about what recognition and celebration of your staff and volunteers means. One tool that I find quite effective is generative AI awards. So recognize achievements like developing tools or leading pilot programs. Highlight winners at events and publications on websites so they get status and recognition and of course a little bit of money. You can consider adding some money as part of this. You can just consider using pure recognition as part of it. There's trade-offs for both of these. But in any situation, establishing quarterly, if you don't have money, or annual award ceremonies, if you do have money, is a great strategy. Next, more purely financial rewards. You want to provide staff with bonuses for initiatives that yield cost savings or improve efficiency gains, so make your work more productive, more efficient. For volunteers, you want to give them discounts on events, on education, on registration renewal. And just thinking about rewards, you want to make sure to tie them to strategic goals of your association. So whatever goals you're seeking, inform your staff and volunteers of them, communicate about that effectively, and tie rewards financially squarely to those. Same, you want to be thinking about all sorts of awards, but especially financial incentives. You want to tie them directly to organizational goals. Okay, another thing you want to think about, here's a third one, is professional development. For example, for staff, you can fund advanced generative AI training or attendance at conferences that are not part of your association, but specifically generative AI related conferences put on by tech companies and so on. For volunteers, you want to bring in external speakers or fund online courses for skill building. And as a broad part of doing so, just think about how you can facilitate career growth while driving innovation. Maybe you can provide specific career tracks, so continuing education credits for generative AI themed courses that are relevant to your association's work. Okay, fourth, think about how you can encourage work-life balance by facilitating flexibility. For example, for staff, you can give them vacation days, or hopefully you're already giving them substantial remote work options. You can give them more remote work if they have shown substantial contributions to generative AI. For volunteers, you can support them with additional flexibility, like flexible meeting schedules, or allow them to make more remote contributions than you would for other volunteers. So that helps foster well-being and prevents burnout. Fifth, grants and funding not for individuals, but for ideas. So let's say your staff have an idea for a generative AI project. You can provide seed funding for that project for the staff to work it out. For volunteers, what I like to do and I find valuable is to give grants to local chapters or perhaps regions, but usually chapters for generative AI initiatives. And that signals a commitment to a contribution to a culture of continuous improvement, these contributions, while also getting you interesting pilot programs that you can then expand more broadly. Finally, peer recognition. Peer recognition is an excellent strategy for generative AI recognition and celebration. So facilitate kudos and recognition platforms for contributions by volunteers and staff. There are various platforms out there. You can find them where people can acknowledge each other, give each other thank yous, recognitions, and people build up points that they can then use to donate to charity or use for continuing education credits or use for a gift card for staff. Implement peer-nominated awards to celebrate shared success. But again, think about tying financial incentives to that. That can be good. You don't have to. So think about what your association benefits from most. And that peer recognition helps foster camaraderie. So that's really beneficial connection among your staff and your volunteers. And you want to highlight contributions at all levels of the association community. So not only staff and volunteers, but ordinary members, give them an opportunity to contribute ideas, and that can be helpful. Let me tell you about a client case study where I worked with a sizable association focused on a scientific discipline, which recognized the potential of generative AI for improving efficiency, for member engagement, but it faced challenges with motivating both staff and volunteers to embrace generative AI. That's at that point where they hired me, and one of the things I worked on is designing a recognition program to overcome these adoption challenges. So we launched a number of initiatives, including an idea incubator program and a champions program and an awards program. We focused on rewarding innovation with visibility, training, and funding of various sorts, the kind of stuff I shared about before. So that was really great. The idea submissions increased by 150% from the first month to the sixth month of the program, and that was very nice. And chapter generative AI participation rose by 80% through localized initiatives compared to the first to the sixth month of the program. Again, excellent. The new tools that we developed and integrated boosted member engagement by 20%. So by statistics like member opening of emails and attendance at events, and it cut administrative tasks by 40%, so made staff quite a bit more productive. So using less staff time for administrative tasks, and staff could focus their time on member services and more strategic activities and program development, depending on the staff roles. More broadly, it cultivated a culture of innovation, collaboration, and ongoing openness to technological adoption. So that was a very nice outcome. Okay, so if you're thinking about rewarding folks, the key takeaways for you are to think about aligning your reward structure with strategic organizational goals. Use diverse rewards. For various people want recognition, finances, and the rewards are going to be different for staff and for volunteers, for members. So think about all that. Communicate your program goals, what you want to achieve, and the criteria by which participants will be evaluated. Continuously evaluate yourself and refine the program to sustain engagement. And building a recognition-driven culture will help ensure the success of generative AI integration in your association and position your association as a leader for generative AI adoption in your industry. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel to get more videos like this, and send me any questions to my email at gleb@disasteravoidanceexperts.com. Again, that's gleb@disasteravoidanceexperts.com.